In a feudal, futuristic Japanese world where eyes are big and passions deeper, an elegant yet ripped young boy finds a mech battlesuit and must mate with a cute gang of robotic pirate girls to save Earth.
Oh, you have nice mech battlesuits.
Watch out, she's horny.
Feel the power of the animated wind. Watch Tokyo tremble as a renegade team of barely dressed manga wildcats fight robotic creatures with only a small caliber handgun and slow-motion fists of fury.
Oh, the power of the wind, you whore.
The anime storytelling event of the decade. Oh, and enormous breasts.
Oh no!
Full Robo Hickey Hurry Mech Battlesuit in theaters now. Are you ready to live the real estate dream?
In this city, it's about affordable prestige condo once-in-a-lifetime opportunities.
Feinberg and Van Wyck International Realty. Whether you're new on the market or an old wreck.
We'll take your dream to the limits of prestige in a spacious loft or an outstanding penthouse vision.
It's a 500-square-foot glass-coated box in the sky with windows that won't open and a doorman that masturbates in your bed while you're at work. Only $3 million, only 3 blocks from the ghetto.
This is an up-and-coming opportunity for the go-getter. Take your future by the throat, throttle it, get mortgaged to the hilt, take no prisoners.
Feinberg and Van Wyck International Realty. We've cleared the slums and made the city unaffordable to people except go-getters like you.
Prestige, prestige, prestige. You can be what you want to be, your way, every day.
Visit FeinbergandVanWyck.com.
I like my man close.
Get closer.
I need my man closer.
Get follicle close.
That's not close enough.
It's what a man needs. Some of the world's most advanced technology has gone into this razor.
Extreme 9.
The Excelsior Extreme 9.
9 blades of glory.
Some scientists work on how to safely take man into space and back, or nanotechnology. But we're working on improving something that cuts hair.
Excelsior Extreme 9.
Real men don't just shave their face. Get closer. You'll have a face as smooth as a baby's bottom. And we all know how women love to make out with a baby's bottom. Blades only $18 a pair. Technology has arrived at the razor's edge.
It's follicle close for extreme glory.
Excelsior Extreme 9.
Being a parent isn't easy, but it just got a little easier with the Trackify wireless location system.
I watch a lot of cable TV news, so I know that everyone is out to abduct and kill my children. So I planted a microchip in their brains. Now, nobody will molest them but me.
Trackify shows your child's exact location at any time. And Trackify's innovative GPS locator chip is implanted at the base of their head, so there's nothing to lose. But Trackify isn't just for kids.
Getting microchipped is great for people like me who have Alzheimer's and wander into traffic. Broccoli, highlighter.
Trackify. Love just got a little easier to keep track of.
Hello?
Hey!
Jason, I really miss you.
Me too. That's why I'm calling you on my new Wiz wireless camera phone. Hey, I just sent your phone a picture. Check it out.
Ugh, what's that?
My junk?
Connect. Live now. This is the moment. With Wiz Wireless, you can take pictures of yourself aroused and send it to friends. Play with your ringtones. Take a pic of your boss changing at the gym. Avoid people and save time by tapping out text messages that take 20 times longer than if you'd called. It's the incredibly lonely, passive-aggressive future of Wiz Wireless.
Can you see my junk now? Good.
Wiz Wireless. Do the social vibe.
I'm a mom, so I often cheat on my husband when he's at work.
The Trackify homing tracking beacon can send instant location updates to your phone, so you know if your wife is at a rest area taking it in the can from a stranger. Trackify's innovative GPS locator chip is implanted at the base of their head, so there's nothing to lose. Get the trust and peace of mind you deserve. Trackify. Love just got a little easier to keep track of.
Well, that was a little delayed. Oh my goodness. Okay, welcome everyone. Hello, Leslie, and let's see, Christina, Selena, hello, Joe. So, hey there, ladies and gents. Welcome to Ominid Paranormal Season 2, Podcast 24. Hope you had a wonderful Thursday. Please, everyone, make yourself at home. And if you have any questions for our special guests, don't be shy, because questions are always welcome here. Every one of you means so much to me, and you are very important to this channel. So I do like to welcome everyone in the chat by name. And if I haven't gotten to you, I will greet you immediately. I promise. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe to us, and don't forget to hit the bell icon to get notifications when we go live. And lastly, if you like what we do, give us a like. It would be most appreciated. So now let's get on with the show and introduce our special guest. Winter Lake explores the philosophy of Lucifer. Excuse me, because this one is a tongue twister for me. Lucifer. Oh my God. Welcome to my world. It's been an interesting night. Luciferins. Oh my God. Anyway, in our modern age, in these current times, witchcraft and occult studies are more popular than Jesus and Allah. And as the church dies away, Satanism and other forms of spiritualism are rising. Winter Lake, through his work, unleashes a black magic philosophy that amplifies and corresponds with writers such as oh my goodness. I had this all down packed. Machiavelli, Baudelaire, and Lord Byron in their satanic studies. Winter Lake has published 10 books on satanic philosophy, including black magic, and has released over 22 tarot decks. He has recently been published through Becoming a Living God Publishers within a fantastic hardcover book entitled Asmodeus, Lord of Lust, which is a collection of 11 modern-day Satanic and Luciferian writers. He has also published a new book entitled Luciferian. Oh my goodness. It was a bad start off. Luciferian. Yeah. Anyway, it's a modern
Luciferian.
Luciferian. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm telling you, it has been a night. Okay, the black magic spell book for the masses that are now seeking out satanic philosophy more than ever. Luciferian is an esoteric, occult, and modern satanic ethos that seeks to expand mankind's perception of what Satanism is in our modern culture, beyond the trappings of ego and self-worship that is so pervasive in the genre. So let's welcome Winter. And I'm sorry for butchering your bio.
Don't worry about it.
I'm telling you.
It's Luciferianism. Don't worry about it. I'm just a scholar of black magic, satanic philosophy, got a background in quantum physics, pretty well schooled in the black arts that way. Been at it since I was about 5 years old. Written, studied, published, look a lot into the future, do a lot of futurist work, but it's all there and more.
Yep. And I have to say, I'm so excited to do this interview, and I know a lot of people here are just as excited. Let's see.
It's okay.
Selena says, oh, dang, Kim, you didn't tell me how hot he is. I told you. I got a naughty crowd here.
No.
Let's see. So, as you said, because my first question was, what age did you realize you would be involved in the dark arts? So it was.
Yes. Yeah, it was 5 years old. It was a cult. I was drawn to it as a child, and then really progressed heavily as a teenager. Started practicing heavily, studying heavily. You know, those masters, Machiavelli, Lord Byron, Francis Bacon, all the different philosophers, you know, and different magicians of their time, and even Madame Blavatsky, and even the artist Rosalind Norton. There's been so many. So from all of this study, I just kept going. Started writing on my own in about 2009. And then from there, it's just exponentially exploded. The following has been massive. The reception has been very much timely. It's an interesting road. I mean, it's not for everybody. You know, people say, well, you know, this is all devil worship. It actually is not. Right. It's kind of a thing where, in my philosophy, we're at one devil, if you even want to say that. We're our own devils. We're not we're not kneeling down and worshiping. Kind of creatures have been inherently evil that were born into it, that just kind of come to terms. And that's been the great seeking of my work, mankind's nature and the natural order of how our world is, and so on. And I kind of realized that if we did not have the cage of law, that we would not be a very good species, actually very evil. So that's been the premise of a lot of my work, the seeking out and comprehension and natural evil, and the different layers that natural evil, whether it's the barbarism, which is something that stamped out, to the neutral, chaotic. I would consider myself lawful evil, person that abides the bounds of law, doesn't seek to hurt or kill it, or animals especially, or people. Although through black magic, you know, that will happen. I mean, I have known to put curses on people. I actually do remove a lot of curses too. And these curses come to fruition. You know, these people really end up getting pain. But it's really getting what they deserve. People that go around screwing people over and hurting people, they kind of, if they approach me and it makes sense, it's not petty, we'll do something about it. But it's not just running around stabbing people on the
Right. The one thing I found very interesting is, you know, as you said, mankind is evil in itself. And that's the one thing that me and my husband have always talked about. And we absolutely agree. Because I was like, if you look at us, we're barbaric. I mean,
yeah, we're not a good.
No.
We can devour creatures. We're not good. We want to be. We aspire to be. It's great. But if you remove the boundaries of law, we won't. 2 weeks, we would be devouring each other.
Right.
Humanity is kind of a very vile race. It does need to evolve further. I think through satanic science, we will evolve as we get more into satanic singularity and merge with our machines and get off the planet. That would be a great thing. If we can make it. We're always on the precipice of destruction. Humanity is type 1. It's very centered, very self-centered, especially now with social media. It's very fallen to self-worship, all of this. Not really an altruistic thing. Everyone is already kind of out for themselves. And as things become more scarce, it becomes more prevalent. You know, if we run out of things in the store, you'll see how good people really are. You know, they're not going to be. They'll bash each other. They'll be getting each other's house. It'll be a free-for-all. Yeah. And it doesn't matter, you know, what kind of thing you're into. It's just going to instinctually going to be doing that. And my great seeking is why that is. I've always been like, well, why does that occur? And then I arrive at that inherent evil. I arrive at, hey, not good, that this occurs because of that. Why is it that we can't be good, without law? That we can't be passive, nice to everyone? Not, because humans react, and they're very much instinctual, very much survival based. That's just how it is, and I don't understand why it is. We weren't some phosphorescent alien. I've remote viewed the universe. Not all alien creatures are like us.
Right.
We're very much a kind of a scourge, to be honest. A lot of other aliens, they're not like us. They are kind of utopian, higher minded, different focus. But they're also not from this planet. They haven't had to live off this, survive this kind of thing. So each living being, different thing.
Well, Selena has a question. What are your thoughts on people using spells without permission?
Well, it happens all the time. People pray for each other. They don't want to be prayed for. People prey on each other. They don't want to be preyed upon. It's just the natural order of humans, what they do. They'll cast spells on each other to gain love, influence, to gain trust, kill. I mean, people are doing it all the time. It's a no-holds-barred reality. They're projecting on each other all the time. It's the natural order of how they are.
I want to take a moment real quickly and welcome Janine and Frank. Frank is my naughty one. Let's see, Instinctric Paranormal, welcome. So can you tell us what exactly is Satanism and Luciferian as well?
They're pretty much the same. It's just a path. It's the path of darkness. In my idea, it's a part of the cosmic evil of the universe. It is theistic. That means there's greater, higher power, and you become one with the satanic source. That's what it is for me. A lot of other satanic people or practitioners are different. They may be in the aesthetic, like fashion. They may be in the atheism, like nihilism, as we call it, humanism, or they're in death worship, or all this other kind of. For me, it's kind of a cosmic aspect. So when I say I'm Luciferian, I'm more of a cosmologist, looking at not just terrestrial-based existence, but beyond this planet, out in the universe, and beyond that as well. It can be also in.
Leslie says I'm an Atlantean, so I'm naturally very nice.
There you go.
And welcome, Jamie. Let's see. So, what exactly is a black magic practitioner, and what would they do?
Black magic practitioner is someone who is guiding light is out, and they're going to seek that out no matter what. The person that is determined, he will be looking for riches, be looking for all aspects of his desire. They have a tendency to be selfish and look at the world very eyes. So that's pretty much what a black magic practitioner is. And the majority of people I run into now are, if not in word, deed, doing that kind of thing. There's really no deviation. If you want a job, you cast to get it. You want a girl, you cast to get her, control her, whatever, or get her into style or whatever. Just, it's kind of like that. And that's what a black magic practitioner does. Pretty much accepting who he is without any denial, without any doubt. You know,
Right.
knows what he wants in the world, which a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't know what they want. So, you know, it's just a little different.
Okay. Let's see. I told you I have a very naughty group here. Let's see. Selena says, do Satanists prefer boxers, briefs, or commando?
I don't even know.
Welcome, Sabra. So, can you tell us about the Book of Goetia and how one would use it?
The Book of Goetia, very interesting. That book, it opens gate doors to other worlds, and it brings in demonic entities, you'd say, alien, whatever you call it. Usually, a lot of what comes through have demonic intent, or an intent to do harm. It's something that you would probably get into, or you would pass certain circles, utilize Goetia, and some of those demons could be as Beelzebub, Belial, Lucifer, any of it. They all have a myriad of names. Usually it's one satanic source. They are legion in its numbers. But it's not something you really just want to trifle with. It usually, if you're not really guarded, or come to the acceptance of who you are as a person or a practitioner, it generally will turn against you. It will possess you. It will turn your household upside down. It will begin to hurt and pain things around you. And it definitely will bring hurt sometimes, where you'll feel weighted down in the back. You can get very sickly. Luck never works out. Money is running out. It turns on you. The Goetia is a very slippery slope, and contains a lot of very good information about opening those doors. But again, you have to have the knowledge of what's open. How do you close? How do you bring banishment? How do you bring acceptance and so on, without gaining detachment, without unleashing something you can't control?
That's interesting, because in an interview I did, that book was brought up, and I'm so glad you were able to tell us exactly what it was. And of course, you know who I'm talking about.
Right. I know a lot of people that work with it, and it can bring some very bad things. Very uncomfortable, and the attachment's initial introduction is nothing like when it starts to grow. It will build over time, and it will suck your energy, and it will begin to just bring adversity. It's something that have to be not trifling with, unless you're trying to just be a chaos agent, really.
Right.
It's not really something you want to start out with, unless you really have a grasp on what.
Right. Well, Leslie has a good question. So, do you integrate any of Aleister Crowley's work, such as the Book of the Law, or the Goetia, or the Magic and Theory?
Right. Crowley, yes. His work is really profound in some ways, but in other ways, extremely gibberish. I found the Book of the Law was channel work got Egypt, but when I've done some research on it, a lot of the name itself, Book of the Law, is taken from the Holy Bible. So, I have utilized some of Crowley, and I've established some of his grimoires to be accurate. But Goetia was actually not totally his work. It was actually a wizard named Gregor. He stole it and Crowley had a tendency to do that. Like he was a plagiarist, so he would take from different magicians, take different magical orders, so-called claim to be his own. But overall, Crowley's work, I don't really integrate Goishi. I do, but I don't really attribute that to Crowley. The Book of the Law, it's more like in between the Book of the Dead by Egyptians or the Holy Bible. It's kind of a weird space there. I mean, it's got Book 4 and it's got all these other books written, but I found him to be kind of brand.
So, Selena has another question. What are your thoughts about Barbara Bush being the daughter of Aleister Crowley?
I know they say that. Could be. I mean, she looks like anything's possible.
I heard about that, and I was like, okay, I'm going to research this, and I was absolutely shocked how much, especially as she got older, she looked like him.
Oh, totally.
And her mother was in France because they got kicked out of Italy and went to France. And she was in France and knew the couple that was taking care of him. So I thought that was very interesting as well.
They're all very tied. All these different things. Very tied. Yeah, I mean, she looks like, I think that's just kind of where it is. I'm sure she was aware of it. I think she wasn't really anything more than look. I don't think she right. I would say that they're down the road. They didn't think that's.
So we kind of hit up on, spells. How common is it that people have curses, hex, or spells put on them?
It goes back to that question of people placing magic protection without knowledge. And I used to find that curses weren't that common. But the more I go along in my life, finding that people are flinging them around like ants, they're throwing stuff at each other in these feuds that we have, and it's crazy. So I'm finding them to be more common than thought. I mean, they're really destructive. They lead to a lot of bad luck. I don't think a lot of people really deserve it. I think people are extremely bad. So they're just getting some garden variety concept on how to do it, and then they, say, boom, put this on this person. Just, So, yeah, I'm finding that I have to banish more curses. I don't personally go around cursing. Right. It's not something I do, but a lot of people are. So it's pretty pervasive now in 2022. Wow. Quite shocking, but it really is.
Can attachments be a form of a curse or a hex?
They come in both forms. Attachments come with a place you're in that it has a lot of distinct personalities, and usually they're not the best, or it has an elemental. So you can get it from a person, a place, an object, and curse or a hex. Either one, pretty much the same. Because a hex and a curse are very much the same. Except a hex, you can change intent. But, if you hex someone, generally is a curse. And it brings about, very much these tidings of a shadow guy who will try to strangle you in your sleep, or, attack you, or kill you. I was in New Orleans recently, and I banished this thing off the lady. She feels like it's night and day. Like over there, they just throw curses on each other like crazy. magic wars with each other. But there is a way to prevent some of the curses. You know, if you run into somebody, you got to have certain sigils on a protection. You know, disbelief is not the safest road. Ironic. You know, you get the naysayer that says, "Oh, I don't believe in curses, so curses don't affect me." They're a primary target. Those, oh my God. I have seen people that have laughed all the way to the grave at it. You know, they're like, "Whoa, you know, I just broke my leg. Whoa, you know, I just fell down the stairs. And whoa, I just snapped my neck and I fell out of the restroom." So it's just like, well, why is this all of a sudden happening? Well, because you got cursed and you're so belligerent, you don't accept it. You laugh all the way to the grave at it. So, wow. It takes, yeah, weird.
So Joe says, how does someone get rid of the entity 7? Or is it really Asmodeus?
Asmodeus. Yeah.
Asmodeus.
But you know what? Ironically, you know, the names are not, they don't have to be perfect. That's, you know, one thing. You know, you've struggled with some of these names. You know, it really doesn't matter. It's the intent. You're already picking it up. So how does one get rid of Asmodeus if he's attached to you?
Is he entity 7? Or are these?
You know, it all depends on what's going on. I would have to look at it. Okay. I know that it's nothing to trifle with, but typically they're probably something that is forced, that is attached to a person. Usually it really gets on your back, and it tries to drive you down. And there's a time frame for it. You know? Like, it will be a year and a day that it will trifle with you, that you'll struggle for a year and a day, and then boom, right on that last day, it's going to take you out. That's when the tire comes off the car and you hit a pole. You know, your luck is crashed out and you finally commit suicide. Because a lot of these things, they want you isolated and alone. They don't want you in a relationship. They don't want you to have success. You know, that's how people are getting at each other now.
Well, that's interesting, because he did say all the time, let's see, not lately, all the time, it really shows up during people's relationships or on investigations. If you encounter him, he's a real douche. So that's interesting that you said that. And then he says he goes by 7, and a lot of people have come across it.
Oh, I bet. I mean, they come by generally the same picture and myriad forms. They're not isolated to one form. They can be also omnipresent in many places at once. So it's very but if he does have an attachment, it's not that complicated, but it does take a little bit to do. It's not just some light bringer person can do it. These kind of things, ironically, could only be managed by a person who knows what they're doing, like a black magic practitioner.
Right.
There's not a charlatan.
Right. That's what I was going to talk to you about is, you know, the whole reason I reached out to you was because I wanted people to know that a lot of people, especially light workers who aren't able to move something on, a holy man, and I use holy man as a whole, as in all the different religions out there.
Sure.
And so they have to come to somebody like you to be able to, you know, move something on. And you know, what I thought was funny is when I told you, I said, I just wanted people to know that not all people that are Satanists or black magic practitioners are drinking baby's blood, which you reminded me quite quickly that there are people out there that are like that.
There are. See, ironically, I am more of a black magic scholar, a satanic philosopher. I study it as well as explore it, seek it out. I'm more on a mental plane, a psychic plane, and a spiritual plane with it.
Right.
There are practitioners, and other people won't admit this, but there are killers out there that hurt children, that hurt animals, that do these kind of things, that deliberately try to hurt people. And they're out there. That's not something that I am even remotely. I find that you don't need to kill anything. You don't need to hurt a loyal creature to get your impoverished ego off the ground because you have a small dick.
Right.
I think all of that shit is bullshit. But, the deniers or the purists or whoever they are in satanic idealism in all paths, they'll say, oh no, these people aren't out there. There's not serial killers killing people. There's not, this is not occurring. I'm turning a blind eye. No, it exists. I've studied it. I've seen it. Recently, there was something with a practitioner who ran a forum. I'm not going to mention names. He ran a forum, and on their forum, they were discussing murder and animal mutilation. Okay. And there was a lot of them on. Well, one of the guys on there decided, hey, why don't I abuse and kill a few women? Hey, why not, right? I'm on the forum. Everyone's into it. Well, he went out and murdered all these people, and then they get, canceled. They get shut down. And I was kind of happy about it. Now, I'm not one to suppress speech and so on and so on. But I am not a do what thou wilt person. I think there are boundaries. I don't think, you have the right to abuse women and to kill things. I don't accept that. Right. And it really irritates me. But that's my feeling on it. Now others, they're like, oh, it's my process, it's social contract, it's my witchcraft, it's my voodoo or whatever. I can do this. Well, I don't know where I'm at in the world. Maybe I'm just a weird purient or some nonsense, but I am not down. I am not down. I don't see any need for that. I think with the mind and with the right set of circumstances, you can build power. You can send it out there and begin to feel it elevating. You can do magic with the cosmos and with the wilderness, and nature is Satan's church. You can build a lot from that. But to go around in a guttural way and kill things is awful. And I have to say that it's, for some weird reason, it's becoming some kind of like new taboo. And it's bullshit. It's not something new. It was done by the Incas, done by the primitive man. We don't need to do it. And I mean, it gets really serious. I mean, there was some guys, Georgia, that were murdering people and killing things. There were guys in Texas, guys in Alaska, very pervasive in Russia, and I don't know. They're just going off the rails for some of them, in my opinion.
So Sabra says, do people act differently around you once they know you're a Satanist? And, he took it down. Let's see. And is it wrong to feel like the dark side is okay or bad?
Oh, everyone is entitled to their own free beliefs of religion.
Yep.
And, the one, I don't have any problem with anything really in the world except something that's going to infringe on, mainly being the Islamic religion. Honest. They're the only threat in my world because they're totally like trying to destroy people like me. So in that regard, if you're trying to infringe on me, I will infringe on you. But overall, everyone is entitled to do what they want to do, believe what they want to believe. But, as I said, that I have my own personal boundaries with, as I just went into that tirade, I have personal code, I have boundaries. Yep. Some other people don't have that. Some people are, they will bring judgments and so on and so on. Your born again Christian is extremely angry and volatile, destructive, and can be very hateful toward anyone. It doesn't matter if you come out as practitioner or not. I mean, I find that some of the most nefarious people come off in the most yielded way from their high tower, from their like holier self-righteousness now, and they'll be awful to people.
Yeah.
They will step over you if you fell on the ice.
They're very
drive the dagger in the corporate ladder to get what they want, and they'll do it in the name of Jesus or whatever they're
very judgmental as well. Very.
Absolutely, and they'll get the bandwagon riled.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, they'll go around and circle their whole team, and they'll just take turns pounding. Because from their self-righteousness, that's what they do. And that's also, the problem with Islam. Islam is awful. Treats women like cattle. They don't want to educate anyone. They're terrible.
Yes.
They're a threat to modern civilization.
You and my husband can have a whole conversation about that.
Right.
He's from Holland, so... And I lived there 4 years. I experienced it myself. I mean, I had one chase me in a car, jump out, and literally grab my arm.
Right, and then
which shocked him because I pushed back. I was nah.
You have to. If you didn't push back, where would you be?
Right.
Tied up in a room, and they molest you because they think it's their right through Sharia law to control women and do these kind of things. That to have a sexualized afterlife that I get to rape 99 women dead. What in the right mind is that? That is bonkers. And this isn't racism. This isn't. Let's just say you're Nazis and oh my God, no. These are people that are actively aggressing towards us, and we need to actively aggress towards them. I am not a turn the other cheek person. I mean, I let things go, but I really don't ever forgive, but I let things go. I mean, I don't go around in the world and hold a chip on my shoulder, but these people, they're chasing you in a car. They're gang. Being a woman in a crowd, they're attacking people on the trains. Yeah, the infiltration of Europe is awful.
It's very interesting. Joe says I'm a Christian. I totally hang out with that guy. And then you get people like Leslie. Leslie was like, she'd hang out with you 100%. I mean, but that's. Like I always use vibration, energy, whatever you want to call it. What I got off of you wasn't so dark and scary. And that's why I was like, I got to reach out to this guy and see if he'll do an interview because,
Yeah, right. I mean, dark and scary trail of a lot of, there are these people that run around their mommy's basement wearing corpse paint, they think they're bad. Ridiculous. It's what you're doing in your life or where you want to go. It's not for everybody. It's a fashion, it's a fad. It's come and gone before. It's just to each his own.
Thank you, Janine. My husband is being tongue-in-cheek and said, I'll become a Muslim so I can smack my wife around. Yeah, that won't happen.
Oh, wow. There you go.
No, that won't happen. There'll be a fight on your head. And Janine says my money's on me. Well, those 40 virgins sound good too in the afterlife.
I know. What's that about? That's what they told the 9/11 crew. They're like, you're going to be able to rape 90 women. Oh, Why? That's crazy. You're going to be dead. There is no sexualized after, I guess.
Well, what I find interesting is, and a lot of people don't realize this, is they are told that they can lie to us. It is perfectly okay in their religion to do all these things, and how the only, and I'm I don't know, honey. Would you say I'm a violent person? I don't know. How do you fight something like that? Well, you have to fight fire with fire.
Yes, of course. You have to stand your ground. You have to be the one in the car that would stab that guy who's trying to drag you out. You can't allow your boundaries to be breached. It's unacceptable. I mean, and like in Pakistan, there was a 12-year-old girl who had a ripped up Quran backpack, and they stung her. They said she was worshiping Ahriman. Who's their grand devil? Armand's very real. Call him Ahriman as well. But the little girl wasn't a devil worshiper. I mean, they could proclaim you a devil worshiper and throw you off a building. The same thing they do with homosexuals or whatever. And it's hilarious that people are protecting this when they totally violate people's rights. You don't have rights.
No.
They just declare you an infidel and you're a slave.
Yep. What were you gonna say, honey?
Well, I would leave you if there were only houses for battered men. There's nothing for us out there, so I'm just stuck with you, hon.
I'm sorry. Let's see. Saber says society is a sad excuse. They have to label everything just that they can feel better about themselves.
Much. Society is different here than it is everywhere, though. Down in Mexico, it's different. We have boundaries here in a very small country. But so surprised.
Yep. Janine says, "Hey, I was called a devil worshiper and a witch my whole life," and that me and Winter were actually having that conversation because in my younger years I was a punk with a mohawk and a skull ring and a couple of skull rings, and I was immediately labeled a devil worshiper. Keep in mind, I'm 13 at the time.
Satanic panic. Crazy.
Oh my God. I can remember that so vividly. Everybody was so terrified. Terrified of what?
Ghost in the closet, man. Satanic panic. Devil was everywhere.
Yep.
West Memphis 3.
Yep. So how hard and detailed is it to perform a hex, a curse, or a spell on someone?
Well, it all depends on the extremity. For example, a little dissension spell is not that common. A love spell, somewhat complicated. An actual curse, it depends on the extremity and how hard you want it. It can be very complicated. There are certain mechanisms that have to be lined up in place, and you have to make certain declarations. In those declarations, you name the person that you want to curse, what you would like to see happen to that person, and so on. So, you could just do a light little smack on somebody, or you can say, "Hey, I want to kind of take them out."
So intention is everything.
Yeah, it is, and it's how much energy you want to put into it. All of this takes energy.
Right.
If I cast a real hard curse, I'm going to sleep for a long time. Literally, I'll go and I'll rest. I live in a 100-year-old house on the hill, so no one bothers me. I'll just go and sleep. I have a parlor and a magic place. I'm also going to buy a church or yeah, it's all a matter of your intent and how hard you want to go. It's a matter of the energy that is out there. Now, most practitioners are solitary. I actually have people I work with too. Okay. So when you get a few people on the same page, that is really stuff.
Oh, wow.
So like for example, we want to change the course of something, enter a different timeline, which we've done with people's lives. Mm. There was a recent thing with this woman in France. She had corporations kind of being undermined by these 3 corporate spies. You couldn't even make this stuff up. Anyway, so we she paid a lot of money, got together and put her whole world back together by knocking out the. So it could be complex or it could be really simple.
So Joe says, I had somebody ask me if I was a Luciferian. There we go. Got it out.
Got it.
Or a satanic Satanist because of a symbol that I use for my YouTube channel.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, they're both the same virtually. One more terrestrial, one being more cosmic. Satanist is the tendency. But you can be all things. So you can be both or whatever it is. I mean, it all depends on what you acknowledge with. If your symbol is satanic or whatever it is, then you say, yeah, it's a satanic symbol, but I'm using it. Or if you got something behind it, then you say, yeah, this is a representation. You have to be careful. You don't want to have the wrong representation because, as I said, backlash.
Right.
This path, the path I'm on, it's not a simple path.
Right.
Okay. It's a constant state of war, and you have to be aware of what's going on at all times. A lot of people don't comprehend. This path is not for everyone.
Right.
And a lot of people are just clinging on to it. They said, it's some kind of fad or something, but there's some real world consequences.
So, because you kind of hit on it, is Leslie says it's pretty easy for me, as in curses, but isn't there a personal price to pay for the ones who cast the ill intent, kind of like a karma aspect?
Right. See, for me, I don't believe in karma. I think karma is a herd conditioning tool. I think it's meant to control people. If karma really existed, we wouldn't have a world because everyone is screwing over everyone. So, in the way I look at it, karma doesn't exist, but that doesn't mean karma can't exist for someone else. It's just a matter of personal preference. I just personally don't feel that, karma is a relative to my work. It's kind of fire and forget. If I feel justified in sending magic, I will, and it will be done. And that's just how I am. I don't have some kind of second thoughts or back to it 6 weeks later and be like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. So that's why you got to be very certain what you're doing.
Right.
This kind of, because it doesn't have context.
Right. Okay, so why would somebody perform blood magic or sex magic?
Well, it's intent. If you're doing sex magic, it's for vitality.
Okay.
I know this woman. I hate to mention names, but I know some pretty famous people that practice sex magic in order to turn back time. They're they'll be in their 60s, and through sex magic, they'll shave off 12. I found that, their youth energy turned, and they just look amazing, or they are turning back their whole youth vibrant cycle of. 60, 50, 40, whatever it is, there I find the use of sex magic, from my perspective, as a tool of vitality.
Right.
It's weird. It's not just to gain orgasm. And that's something I'm recently studying. That I've gone into my own kind of practice and have developed my own thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
But to most other people, it's just to gain some weird, different type of orgasm.
Right.
Everyone is always looking for a better high, a better orgasm, so on and so on. How to spice things up. I don't know. To me, I think the idea of returning, shaving off 12 years here and there, that's pretty good. I mean, actual years, let's go from 52, let's turn it back to 42, and you really go back there, and I've looked at some of these people, and it's like, I'm not saying, like, for example, and I love this woman to death, and I'm not in any way going to slander her, or this is just a presumption of my consciousness. But I'm going to give you an example of Elvira. This is a woman who has such
gorgeous,
a vital, natural youthfulness about her that you would never know. Now, I'm not saying that she's practicing anything to do whatever she does, but she is a woman that would be, of that genre. That's like, oh, you're in your like late 60s?
She's gorgeous.
You do not look, woman, like you're in your late 60s. So, from my perspective, I'm like, okay, we know there's something wink, wink, more going on.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not blood drinking. It's not any of this.
No.
There's something holistic going on. And sex magic can be very holistic, very natural, but it's also who you're connecting with. I mean, twin flames I've seen have the power to do that. Old love, that just, you really love someone or connect with someone on that. I've seen some of them be able to do it. It's interesting. The jury's still out. I'm exploring. So sorry to get so long-winded.
No, because I mean, I just found that very interesting. I could not get the true definition of sex magic.
Right. Exactly.
And it was frustrating because I was going, well, blood magic and sex magic can't be the same, because it kept saying how it was used as protection. And I was like, huh?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, anything can be used as protection. I mean, drinking blood is extremely dangerous. I don't advise that at all. I don't do any of that. It's not, got to be careful. But today, what I just told you was my personal theory.
Right.
From what I've seen and the result of it, for a black magician, you're always looking for the outcome.
Right.
You're always looking, what's the lustful result? What this is occurring due to that. And I personally have not seen a good definition of sex magic, but I'm kind of getting there. I'm kind of comprehending some of the results behind it. Have to be the seeking of vitality, youth, vigor, stamina, all that.
It's interesting because I kind of follow this girl. She's into Norse magic. And the one thing that she always insinuated, and we talked about it, is she's like, you have to be careful what you do and how you do it. She says, because it can come back and kick you in the ass big time. And she not so much talked about blood magic, but she did talk about sex magic. Very strange.
Well, I mean, me personally, I don't think they come back to kick you unless there's some tension for a person behind the scenes bringing you back. So you may be doing some things that are fringe. She may kind of view with even other elements or force, You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So something I have to say is a warning. If you are getting kicked or kicked back on it, you got to evaluate your path. You have to see what's going on, because to be honest, kickback is not good. Ain't not good. That is a warning. If she's getting kicked back on what she's doing, then something out there is messing. It really is.
Right.
Whether it's another person or a jealous hater or, an elemental or some kind of spiritual entity. Because really, she should be flowing. But if she is into blood stuff, that can make a little sense. Because blood, in my opinion, is very guttural. And not to repeat myself, but I find it unnecessary.
She does a little bit of it, not a whole lot. She typically says if she does blood magic, it's typically hers or her partner, and she says he has to be a willing participant. So she's like, I don't do it very often, but there was a lot brought up about that, and I was just like, okay, wow. Trying to figure out all the different things, Norse magic and black magic and voodoo and oh my god. Whew.
Yeah, it's different, but not so different. General premise is kind of all about intention. It's just a matter of how to get, Norse is very interesting. A lot of the runes, I've used them. There's a lot there. It's just a matter of your intention. And each path has its own way to get there.
Right.
And, each path doesn't agree with everything the other one does. So that's what is its own distinction. Voodoo has certain chants that I'm not really accustomed to or into. But for them, they're into it, and certain chanting, so on. They enter certain states of trance, and they feel they're elevating to their entity. In Norse, they're tackling into the whole sphere of what the rune gates and so on can mean, how they operate. I mean, I know a Russian woman that can manifest in a room, and you can see them. She'll project it with her mind into your mind, and you'll begin to see what she. So it's very interesting. I mean, I know an Iranian, extremely powerful black, very dangerous. She's like basically an assassin. I mean, it's amazing as I've been into this past it's a published out person since 2009. All the different people that I've met, experienced, and how dedicated some are, and then how non-dedicated others. Or like how some really go off the rails, or some kind of find something else.
Right.
Or it could be a fad, 1 minute they're in dragons, next thing it's Satan, next week fairies or elves or something.
Yeah. Okay, so have you ever had anything frightening happen to you while performing any certain thing?
Yes, I have. I was in ruins in Europe, ironically. I guess not ironically. They were ruined, and we were doing. There was other people involved, and it was actually in the Czech Republic, and we were doing these rituals, and the roof began to cave in. That was very intense.
Wow.
The actual roof of the structure. It was probably just old, and it could have been the vibration or having people walking around. There's a lot of exploration, but the roof began to crumble in. And I've had like a lot of encounters with demonic entities, but these things aren't going to be the devil flying out of the closet.
Right.
They really come into your dream, They come in on vibration. You feel them when in your house. You'll feel the attachment room. These things bring sleep paralysis. They'll try to kill you. I've experienced all that. Very intense. They love to mess with machines, obviously, and computers. It's been a free-for-all experience.
That's crazy. Is there people in our government that practices any form of dark arts like MK Ultra, Freemasons, Illuminati?
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, Bohemian Grove, a giant owl of Moloch, are like a hill. They carry on these Masonic plays. So yeah, the whole government is steeped. It's steeped in Masonic lore. It's steeped in Luciferian. They all are, if not in word but deed, carrying out their own selfish intention. They're all pushing their own agendas.
Yep.
They don't care about the common man. It's like a two-party hoax. It's all a joke. You may think that you're enamored by one or the other or whatever, but really we should have innumerable different camps and things that are bringing about the freedom of the fundamentals of our Constitution. But our government, it was founded on the premise that all men are created equal. It's a fundamental right. They're very much occultists. All of them are. You can see the study basically of the Scottish Rite, and they all are steeped in occult lore. It's our country.
It's interesting because my father was a Mason, and it shocked me how secretive it is, even when me just asking him questions, because he was the one that who was training all the new people coming in.
Wow.
And he just would not talk about it. Now, if you ask my mother, she'll flat out tell you it's all evil.
Right.
I mean, what can you say? I mean, hang on. Somebody asked, hang on. Where did it go? It was a good one. New World Order affiliate?
I'm not an affiliate of any kind of order. But,
I think she's talking about the people that are practicing this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, if you look on the dollar bill at Novus Ordo Seclorum, that is World Order. So the dollar bill has with the all-seeing eye. I can break it down. And then you have the Owls of Moloch that are tinily displayed on the dollar bill. The dollar bill is your key gate, foundation of our country. I mean, there's just so much mystery in there. Then you have the webs of Lilith, the way the webbing is. Lilith is all like demonic synergy, how it flows. And democracy itself is a Roman word for to be ruled by demons. Democracy is demon crossing, ruled by demonic powers. So, the whole standard where this government is built on the premise of where we're at. So yes, it is evil. It is New World Order. We are the light bringers. We are the Lucifer on the hill and all this kind of. And Lucifer, the name, derived many texts of Roman texts, Luciferic, later borrowed, used in the Bible. The Bible is only about 2,000 years old. Right. Roman culture is far beyond that. So a lot of what was in the Bible was borrowed from Roman writings, which is actually the Bible. I was laughing. It's not even a form of blasphemy. But I was riding down the road and I was like, there's a sign that says, explore the Bible experience. I'm like, dude, You want me to explore the Bible experiences? It'll be like, where are my women that I can savage? And how can I dash people against the walls? And can I dress like the Grim Reaper and go knock on doors and shit? You know, I'm like, the Bible experience? Holy fuck. I would ride that train, baby, because that was wild. My God, dude. Can you imagine? Let's all go on the Bible experience, dude. Yep. I mean, the great dragon of Revelation, can we ride around and be like the harlot of Babylon? That would be an amazing amusement park, really.
Yep.
Oh my God, because the Bible is not holy. I don't find anything holy. It's actually completely contradictory, very dark. Like it says, oh, you know, I'm the Almighty God and I favor these people, but you're scum. So I'm gonna let them come burn and dash you in cages and everything. There's just not a lot of love there.
But you can even see it during, you know, the 1800s and even later, where they're burning women at stakes because somebody accused them of being a witch. I mean,
I know.
All in the name of the Bible and God. And wow.
Yep. God is a vague term. I mean, what is God? I mean, I could say God. I mean, God could be anything. It could be that chair. I mean, it could be God. I mean, it's not even trying to be blasphemous. It's the same thing with the concept of an Allah or Jehovah or, you know, anything. I mean, to say anything is a God, like, well, what is it? It's vague. It's unknown. In the Holy Bible, it's like this all-powerful being that just chooses sides, and he's random. One minute he'll, you know, champion Israel, and then he's sending down Asmodeus or something. So it's bizarre. We live in psychobabble. We are creatures of weird, like, rambling static.
Leslie has to question, did Adam and Eve have a belly button?
I don't know. I don't know. Did they fuck a snake? I mean, what the hell's going on? I mean, the whole Adam and Eve thing are like, you know, like it's just, it's misogynistic, really.
It is definitely an interesting book. I mean, if you're gonna read anything, at least read, you know, the and now I'm even drawing a blank now.
Well, you know, the first 5 books, the Torah, they dug them out from that. I mean, I just know too much about the Bible. I know too much about a lot of written words, many different civilizations. I mean, a lot of things from the Roman culture. I mean, the way America mirrors Rome, amazing, and how the decline of Rome, the decline of America, that in itself, you know, even though Rome lasted a lot longer, America may not.
What do you want to say, honey?
First Testament.
First Testament. We watched a really interesting documentary talking about the First Testament and how it lines up with the Egyptian history. But when you hear the things from First Testament, yes,
you're not saying everything. It lines up with the Egyptian history, but only in the wrong time.
Yeah, they had to shift it.
So the time that they say Jesus was born is not the time. You have to shift it back like 200 or 300 years.
Wow.
So Jesus was basically born 300 before Christ.
Wow. He was born before himself.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, it's just crazy. And it's odd because he was crucified on the, supposedly, and then Nero crucified thousands of people upside down to like the hills of Rome. There's so many, and that time was like, they say Jesus after that. But he was done by the Romans, supposedly. Yeah, we don't know enough. And history is becoming to be jumbled, and things are being lost and confounded, and it's like they were so manipulated from the get-go that we're starting to lose continuity. Very much so. We have to look at what the Egyptians had to offer and so on, because they kept good codified records.
Yeah.
The Bible just is not a good codified record. You don't put your faith in a person, place, thing, and you definitely don't put your faith in a book. And a book like the Bible is like super sand. Like, you are just, if you're saying the Bible is your track to belief, you are just entering quicksand and putting a noose around your head. I mean, just so out there.
It's funny because the First Testament, God is he's punishing, he is cruel, has no mercy. And then you get the Second Testament, and now he's this loving God, and everything is just wonderful and great. And it's like, okay, what?
I know it's a glaring contradiction, and there's something missing. There's so much missing. There's a whole section missing. There's so many things missing, and yeah, it's bizarre. And Jesus, really interesting magician, philosopher, but I don't know. I don't believe he was the son of God. I think he was working his own, martyrdom abilities. It's when Pilate was interviewing him, it's like, so I mean, these people are saying Renire, INRI, which is the Son of God, and he says, well, I am what you say I am. Well, I mean, this passive aggressive behavior.
Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't trying to save himself. So they say Jesus saves, but he can't save himself, or he chooses not to, because he wants to go to hell for 3 days and redeem something, open up some gate to allow people to be released. But the whole concept is just way nonsense. Because why would a loving, supposed God want to drag you to this dimension of fear and evil?
Mm-hmm.
So there's too much. And in 2022, it's starting to unravel.
Yep.
It's just nonsense.
Well, what I find interesting, because I always tell people when I deal with the paranormal, I do not involve religion in it. Because if that's the case, the Bible has said that if you speak to spirits, if you're a necromancer, you should be stoned to death. Well, then people that say they're Christian, well, you have to be careful what you do, because then technically your Bible says you should be stoned to death. You don't need to be talking and communicating with the dead. And that's why I leave religion out of it.
Right.
For me, it's just, there is just too many. Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah.
So,
I mean, they're saying they're going to stone you. I mean, they're bringing their judgments. Who are they to stone anyone? But yeah, just leave it out of it. Explore the paranormal. Try to find what's going on. It's a part of your search. That search is so interesting.
So my next question is, what are your thoughts on people who dabble with Satanism or any form of dark arts?
Well, I run into a lot of them. They have a tendency to have an ego that is ridiculous. They're kind of rude. They think they're gods or something. I mean, it's just sad. People need to get off their high horse, and it doesn't make you special to supposedly be a Satanist or a practitioner or anything. It just is it's your choice if it's real. But a lot of them I run into, it's hard to hang out with. It's not real. They're not cool. You try to play pool with them, and it's like, no, you're not some special entity. You're just a mortal. I mean, right. The ultimate goal I would like to see, sure, let's live forever. Let's tune up and let's inject nano cells, and try to have some DNA regeneration, sure, it'd be awesome. But right now, it's just a living, dying organism.
Yep.
It's all sex and death.
Yep.
And when you run into them, they're really difficult to get along with. And it's a long-winded explanation. Each one has a different thing. A lot of rambling.
So I watched an interview with a lady who was a psychiatric nurse. She had abilities, and I want to see what your answer to this question is. Do you believe some people in prisons or mental hospitals could have attachments, even possibly some form of possession, or also could they have dabbled in the dark arts and got themselves into trouble?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Look at your serial killer. Look at Richard Ramirez.
Yep.
Look at the Lisa Lam story. Look at all these different weird disappearances that go. People in mental institutions, they're connecting with aliens. Telepathy. Madness is bizarre, and I've seen some things that I can't explain. Superhuman strength, ability to jump on a ceiling, and all this kind of stuff. I mean, unless you actually witness it, it would be a hard time believing.
Yeah.
So some people that are in prison, they've committed atrocious crimes. A lot of them black it out. They're in denial of it. Don't know how they came about doing it. Were they possessed at the time? Possibility. Doesn't give them an excuse. But, how do you explain some of this stuff?
Right. I mean,
a woman checks into a hotel, kills all her children, then has no knowledge of it. Or a woman gets called to drive her car into the ocean with all her kids. She said she heard a voice. A woman in Texas, and men too, I'm just giving them, but a woman in Texas drowns all her kids and dresses them up and puts them back in beds. I mean, how do you explain this erratic behavior? Is it madness? Is it possession? You hear a voice that tells them to do it? I don't know. But people are carrying out pretty fucked up shit.
It's interesting because the nurse said that her working in mental hospitals, she had the ability of seeing and hearing, and she was shocked to see so many people in mental hospitals, she says, that aren't crazy. She says that they either have some kind of attachment to them. She says it really blew her mind. And I was like, well, it's got to be the same in prisons as well. If it's like that in the mental hospitals, oh dear God, what they do to each other in prison is horrendous.
Oh, absolutely. It's prison mindset all the way around. We're very barbaric. I mean, these people, though, have committed horrible crimes. They've arrived at where they are through their action. And the human mind breaks past, break out. There was a guy, I mean, I've watched some true crime stuff. A guy stabbed a woman 30 times, something, then has no knowledge of it, is in total denial of it. Even the blood was all over him. They found the knife in the room. It wasn't, I don't know. Some very weird things are happening in humanity.
It is. I mean, you have, I can't remember his last name. His first name was Adolfo. His mother was Cuban, and they got into the whole not voodoo, so I'm going to say hoodoo. And they made him believe, his mom and the priest made him believe he was this god, and went to Mexico and started killing off the cartel and stealing their drugs. I was like, what the? I mean,
Wow.
insane. And he was taking these people that he was killing and putting them in this big cauldron and cooking it up. And what? I mean,
it's weird.
Yeah.
The guy in Russia right now, he has a massive following. He's huge. He looks just like Jesus Christ.
So, what are some of the tools you use whenever you're performing something like a Ouija board or?
Pretty standard.
Yeah.
A dagger, an athame, I use candles, certain tones, or we use music to get into certain levels of trance and chant. Pretty standard accoutrements, nothing too out of the ordinary. We do cast circles to open gates of dimension. So nothing as I said, of animal sacrifice. I don't need to do it. It's not necessary. That's pretty much it. Very simple thing, because the wand is the extension of your own mind. The athame is the extension of psychic power. These are just like the antennas. They amplify your ability. So, when you call the corners, the north, south, east, and west, you're calling different dimensions, time, space, and you can just utilize that energy and it comes back to you. And the wand and so on, they're only, just as I said, extension. They're the instrument, they're the amplifier. And I get great results. I don't need to do anything else. Like I'll see clouds stir, I'll see the wind pick up. I know I'm affecting my environment. I'm bending reality to my will. I know when this kind of thing is happening. You feel it rising in the air. Your hair will stand up as cliche. These kind of things. It's an energy pattern built. And so those are the instruments and there's innumerable stage, swords,
I want to real quick just apologize to Leslie. I am so sorry. And I know that kind of brings back not good memories. And I apologize. I'm so sorry. Leslie said she was in prison and the dark things are there. I saw it firsthand. Just like nobody has more Jesus power than a convicted felon.
Oh, so I know, right?
I just want to say I'm so sorry.
It says converted.
Oh, sorry, converted. Sorry. Thank you. You want to come back in and correct me anymore?
Sure.
Yeah.
So, what are some of the craziest things people have asked from you?
Basically just kill people. That's pretty much it. Through cursing. That's pretty much it. I've sometimes watched, and I've seen it come to fruition. Certain people have been destroyed. That's when you really know you're on your path. When you have the power to do that. Not everyone is the same. There's people that cross boundaries. I knew a woman whose dog was maimed by this asshole she was dating. She couldn't do anything about it, so I wrapped this car around the tree. Things like that. But as I said, I don't do them for petty.
Right.
But a lot of people, recently it's about banishing her. A lot of people have just been walking around. They're like jinxed. They're like tired. They're fatigued. They're ill. They can't shake it. They're bad luck, just insidious. So, I mean, the craziest thing people want me to do is kill their enemies for them. And, you know, pretty much practicality, the common thing now is curse banishing. You'd think it would be, you know, like back in the 90s, it was really love. A lot of people wanted love. They want a love spell. They don't want that now.
No.
And love spells are kind of the most prettiest thing in the world. But no, they either want to kill their enemies or have their curses.
That's awful. So, let's talk about paranormal because, and this just nags at me so much. And I just want to say real quick, sorry. Hello, Amy with Full Dark Paranormal. Welcome. How do you feel? You have all these paranormal teams and they seem to be popping up more. And they're running around screaming, demon, demon, demon.
Right.
When we all know there's not one there.
No. It's usually a pissed off, angry person or an element. And even they're not that common. And the more these teams go into these spaces, the more diluted it's become. So it even becomes more cleared out of the end, or whatever the element is there. It is very rare, in my opinion, to come across a demon.
Yes.
A demon is something of an eternal darkness that is from boundless space. It could be considered an alien. It is definitely transmigrating across dimensions, so it can move across dimensions. It can also move through people, and it's hugely out for itself and very destructive. And its goal is to devour the life energy of the person that it finds. So if you really find a demon, and it's in a room in your house, and you're harboring it, you know you're in an energy exchange with it, or you know that it is, you know, something going on, you're on a treacherous path, because the thing's going to kill you, and then it's going to devour your soul. It's very innate nature. A demon is out to kill, devour, and that's how it exists. That's how it lives on through the dimensions of time. That's how it's able to do what it does. And it's not as common as people think. They do exist. They can be summoned. They can carry out the will of the magic practitioner through an exchange. Typically, there's a bargain still struck, so on and so on. But a paranormal team that goes into grandma's basement, that just because the place is old, doesn't make it on. And you're using Ghost Box, you may pick up on some words, but they're all from the ether of time. They're jumbled and they're not necessarily communicating to you anything. You know, I was in this prison that was shut down called the Joliet Prison in Illinois recently.
Yeah.
And I did a little bit of ghost hunting myself. Now, in there, I'm just ghost hunting, but there is demonic power there. There is portholes there. In the Joliet prison, if you really want to find a demon, if you want to come in contact with a real demonic power, you go to the Joliet prison.
Wow.
Because in there is something going on. They have tunnels underneath the place. They have it's vast. It looks like a relic from an age ago. It's a giant castle. It housed some of the most horrendous people across our planet. So yeah, there are spots of great distress where a demonic force would be tracked.
Yeah.
Certain areas of the Holocaust would have that. Certain areas of great distress where war is placed.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right. Therein you might find a demon. But every day I'm hearing, oh, we're in this place in Boston and we found a demon living in Grandma's attic. No, there's no demon living in Grandma's attic, and there's probably nothing living up there. You know, I mean, it's ridiculous.
Maybe a bat or two. But
yeah, in Billy's closet, there's a demon. You know, he's under my bed. You know, he's like on my balls. It's ridiculous.
It's just getting more and more and more. And I mean, my very first apparition that I saw, full body with, you couldn't see through them, was when I was 3.
Right.
And it was the same one my father saw in the same room when he was 16. Same exact. I mean, when I got old enough to explain to him what it was I saw, and I wasn't really scared of him. It was just like, there's this strange person in my room type deal. But elementals, I don't like dealing with them, don't want to be around them. No, I've never run across a demon. I've came close to an elemental and I turned around. I was like, no, thank you.
An elemental is very real. And look, over time, they eat and create, they come from other nations. And yeah, that's not a demon. You know, a ghost is real. A ghost of someone who had suffered tragedy. You can encounter, and even those are very rare now. They think they encounter a ghost everywhere. That's not the truth.
Yeah.
A lot of it is just residual human energy that's going on as we live. You know, Thomas Edison was trying to build a ghost box.
Yeah.
I think there's something with that. I think some of the ghost boxes, they need to get more into that as a tool, and maybe we can find out more. But no, you're running into elementals, maybe occasional ghosts, demons, very rare. And they're in very difficult places to get to, and they're very destructive once found. Because when you really find a demon, if you really are there, there's going to be consequences. You're not going to feel right. You're around someone who's trafficking with demons, who is purposefully trying to draw that to them. It's going to add consequences.
There's actually one particular person I know, and the guy, I don't think he quite grasps where he's going, but he's always dreaming about going to hell and them using him as a soldier. And I'm going, they went to Aleister Crowley's summer home and tried a ritual. And I'm going, dude, you have no idea what you're getting yourself into. He's just a paranormal guy.
Yeah, if he wants to be a tool, you want to be a tool, or if you want to be a master, that's a common tool. That's garden variety bullshit.
All right. Leslie asked a good question. What is your position with Native American curses?
Well, they were master curse break, very much like the Egyptians. It's very simple in its undertaking, and its outcome extremely powerful. If you meet a real American Indian now who has followed his path, if that really exists, they haven't corrupted, because the goal of the European was to corrupt and destroy their culture. But if there is one or two out there, a witch doctor, that's really into their path, I wouldn't want to fuck with them. If they really remember and can tap into their ancestral vibe, they're very much, I feel, at one with the serpent, which is Egyptian Set, which is a dark element power. It's just, it's very quick. I saw one time in my life when I was on an Indian reservation and I was meeting with a witch doctor, and he seemed to be, even he was like 70% authentic. He corrupted a little bit. But even at being 70%, I saw some immediate results. So American Indian thing is very rare. It's becoming rarer by the day. I think we're losing a very powerful art. There was an art form with their magic. They were an elevated species. You know? I often wonder if they weren't conquered, if we didn't ever find them, what would happen? What would have evolved from that? I bet they would have been off the planet. I bet they would have found that science that we've lost as secret, you know, the Atlantean energy. I bet they would have tapped into all the Inca stuff. I bet they would have vanished. I bet they would have been a vanished culture from the planet. Not a native one, but one that elevated themselves to such a higher consciousness that they probably just ascended. That would ascend.
Amy with Full Dark says that she saw the same type of thing, a shadow I couldn't see through, but I never once considered it a demon for that. I mean,
wow.
It is very shocking. You know, the people that run around, you know, playing this game with demons.
Right.
So, what was your first paranormal experience?
Well, going back to a very young age, I'm about 5 or 6 years old again. I lived on the third floor of this house. And it was basically an attic setting. I used to open the windows one summer. A bat flew in my room, and I kept it in my closet. So from having this bad experience, intrigued me, and I felt paranormal, and that's what kind of started the whole thing. It was that kind of thing. It was a natural. Then from there, I got tarot cards, started having some psychic stuff go on. Then my teenage years were really kind of wild. That was when I was testing my powers, kind of being very dark. And in my 20s, I was interested in finding missing, murdered people. So I worked with the cops doing some of that. Then I quit that. I don't know. It's been one good ride. I try to keep it going. But yeah, I was from a very early age drawn to it. Or it came, I don't know.
Right. It is interesting because, you know, like I told you about the girl that does Norse magic, she says it has to be something that calls to you. I mean, because she said, I've dabbled in other magics, and she says it just wasn't, it didn't fit. It didn't feel right. And so, you know, Yep.
Got arrested.
What is your strangest paranormal experience?
Well, as I said earlier, it was a roof collapse.
Yeah.
But I've had others. I was in another place in California where I was, you know, ironically chasing around the Lisa Lamb because it kind of intrigued me for a second. This is this girl that ended up in a water tank above a building. I don't know how she got in. And the whole place, this old hotel, is just totally haunted and spooky. So I was retracing her steps and finding out different things about it, and kind of fell into a trance and experienced the old world mixing with the new world, and something to do with Blue Dahlia. And I literally fell into a weird trance and woke up in another part of the city. And I don't do drugs. So for me, having a space of time that vanished during an investigation is really weird. Like I went into another space. So that has not happened since. But having that happen has definitely made me aware that we are not always in control of our reality.
Right.
You know? And it's spooky. You know, you go into some of these places and you're doing it alone, which I did, which may have been a mistake because I really delved into it. I was trancing, I was chanting, I was trying to get there, trying to find out what was going on with this hotel. And I guess the end result was this wild supernatural ride, very interdimensional.
Wow.
I went different things. And I've had trances in dreams, but nothing like this. Nothing like this, where I have a gap in time that I can't explain. How I went from one place to another, you know, missing hours. It's kind of spooky. You know, some people that have been abducted by aliens say they've had that experience. And I'm a super grounded dude, you know? This kind of stuff really wouldn't happen, but it did to me. It made me a believer in a lot of other things that I didn't believe in before.
That's interesting. Have you removed, I'm just going to put the D word out there, demons or any kind of just nasty, malevolent spirit from someone?
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I've cast this guy named Tony had a real bad demonic life, family heritage. After some preparation, was able to banish that. It was like Night and Day. Like,
wow.
You know, he went from putting a gun to his head to having a job paying $5 an hour. So, yeah, I've done it. I've helped people that are cool, you know, that are real and down to earth. I'm not a saint. Go around helping everyone. I'm not a, you know, I'm just not. I'm just being honest. I mean,
right.
I'm actually pretty ruthless and be very mercenary, but I think we all can. You know,
right. Absolutely.
You know, and I do a lot of this for money. You know, I'm not like one of these people that say, they try to do some pseudo thing. It's not about money. It really is. I'm putting my energy out there. There has to be a tribute. I'm not trying to do some sidewinder bullshit where you're trying to charlatanize something or use psychological cues to get, guess what's in some purse. All this bullshit.
Yeah, the one thing that I find funny is you have so many people that are going, oh, I sage for spirits and all that. And I was like, no. I've never saged for spirit. I've always set my boundaries, set my rules. If you can't play in that ball field, then you're out. I'm not, I don't. Now, I sage, this house just has bad energy. I mean, a divorce was messy. Some girl from the university got yanked out of here for drugs by the DEA, ATF, GBI. So, me and my husband are not people that fight. So I was like, okay, we're fighting and this isn't normal. That's what I sage for. I cleanse it and then be done with it. But I also said you have to be careful because sage affects different spirits differently, and you may not get a good reaction from it.
Exactly. Sage is just a tool of your intention.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's back to what I said about the wand. Yeah, it's just extension.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're using sage and you want to bring about goodwill as well as ill will, you want to extinguish the space of negativity. It's a good method. It's something as long as you are true, you know, and it makes you feel better if you believe that sage is actually effective. Really, it's you yourself. You're the one. You're the projection doing it. The sage is just a tool extension. So it's you going around the house and with this sage, but it's your own central psychic power that feeds it up. You're the one that's like, I don't want this in my house. I don't want this intention.
Mm-hmm.
So the sage is just a tool. You're the one. You're the central core of its origination. No, I don't want to argue. I don't want to fight. No, I don't want to think about the negative things that have gone on here in the past. You know, people have been murdered, or someone disappeared. Someone carried out some nefarious activities. And I don't want any part of it. So that's a good way to do it. There's other ways, but that's a good method.
Yeah. So Leslie has a good question. Are there specific entities that you call upon in your practice outside of the known elements that are used in conjuring?
Well, I really am connected to Lilith, Asmodeus, Belial, Lucifer, Mephistopheles, especially. Those are the ones that I'm connected with, like instantaneous. If I want some results, these are things that come, their energy that manifests for me that really makes it work. Further on, outside of that, it's interesting enough, Set could be Satan. It could very much be Leviathan, Apollyon, Beelzebub. I mean, there's so many different ways these things work, and the names are numerable. You know, they're one, but they're legion, and it's all cosmic, all from. It's not necessarily terrestrial, as I said. And when you tap into these forces, you bring your intention with it, and you get what you want. You know, if I want some riches, if I need to get through, it'll somehow come forward. So, utilizing these as well as others. My real good one is probably Hecate. Hecate is strong with it as well.
Oh, wow. Selena says, what can I do to protect my dog from my attachment? It's really messing with him.
Well, we need to get the attachment away. So, she has an attachment. It's slowly draining you, probably killing you, and its goal is to hurt your loved ones. So it will probably kill your animal. I highly recommend reach out or banish yourself. No one wants to walk around with an attachment.
No.
You don't want an attachment getting in your house. It will cause an uproar. It may not be in the immediate time, but in 6 weeks, all of a sudden, brakes are failing, the pipes are bursting, or your animals are hurt, or your children are sick. Weird shit happens, okay? It's not good. Not good. Other practitioners say, oh, it's nothing, and you can get along with it. Kind of drive it into dormancy. No, you get a hold of it, kill it, drive it out of your life.
Mm-hmm.
Want it. Now, if you're trafficking with it, that's something else. Trafficking with it is something else. But if you have an active attachment, you don't want it. You don't want it.
No. So not only are you a medium, but you're also a remote viewer. Can you share any stories where someone has come to you needing help?
I found a bunch of money in a house. I found jewelry under a tree. I found a missing person on the East Coast. Yeah, remote viewing is really fun. If you really put your mind to it, anyone possibly has. It's a matter of how you harness. But yeah, I've had some really good experiences. I've found things on my own. Like I've lost things, and I'm like, okay, let's try to figure this out, and I'll see it. Like, okay, my phone is left on this chair in that restaurant. If I go back right now, I can find it. Lo and behold, it's right there. Or keys were dropped behind this couch. Go and give it a look. It's really fun. I don't know. I'm really good at it. I could probably, do a lot. I mean, I have done a lot. I really have turned it outward, actually. I don't need dimethyltropyline. I don't need drugs, DMT, or whatever, to do what I do. I definitely come in contact with aliens. I definitely can perceive across the universe with it. I've seen some pretty intense. It's not for for anyone else to believe.
Right. Because see, I've been working on mine. I've been dabbling with it. I mean, I really need to work a little bit harder with it, but it when I first tried, I was like, oh well, that wasn't too hard. So I mean, what's interesting is I interviewed one of the ladies, that sweet lady, who's a medium and a remote viewer, and says the same things you say. She's like, I can be driving down the road with my family in the car on a big highway, and all of a sudden she's like, I see what's fixing to happen, and she's like, I'm just driving, very casually, she says, because I knew where to go not to get hit or, somebody losing something and finding it. And so I just thought, oh my goodness, she said the exact same thing.
Right. Exactly.
And I know you said you don't do this anymore, but you used to work with the police to help solve crime.
Right.
Is there some stories?
There was a few of them. One in Pennsylvania. There was one in Ohio. But these things, they start to look at you as a suspect. Get tired of it. There's not enough money. Said screw you. You come up with information they don't have. Start viewing you as knowing something. Yep. It's very reactive with investigation. It's monkey see monkey. It's ignorant, and I'm too elevated for it. Not arrogant, just elevated. I don't need to deal with it. I'm not a criminal. I did it. I was interested in it. There was a romanticism behind it. It's intriguing. Hey, I can try to solve this murder. I'm seeing this sign that says green leaf. I'm seeing a dead-end road. I'm seeing a skull in a wood. Go 100 yards outside this road and go find it. Well, lo and behold, it did. And so on and so on. So things like that. And ironically, I'll get interested in a case, like I've mentioned the Lisa Lamb case or some other case, and I'll just carry out my own little investigation.
Right.
I won't let anyone else get involved.
Yeah.
And that's always fun. Like there was one of a woman that I had found to be buried under concrete. And I know she's buried under concrete. Don't know where exactly. So, it's just weird. And I get little intuition about things. But I really kind of actively suppress it, to be honest. I don't want to do it. I don't want to. It takes up too much of my energy and my time, because once you start to go down one rabbit hole, there's just so many. Humans are killing each other all the time. You know, 50% of murder goes unsolved.
Yep.
I'm from Chicago, and it's like
oh gosh.
Yeah, it's a free for all up there.
Yes,
it really is. I mean,
is. Every weekend,
yes, and I lived in DC in the 90s, and I saw some crime, but nothing like what's going on up there. I mean, there's so much going on that's unreported. They're just killing each other like bugs, like insects, savages. I mean, it's just constant. And you just, when you look at it, in my opinion, just turn off. I don't need to solve anymore. I don't want to know. I know I mean, it's sad when people vanish, but you know, unless it really, it's got some occult spin to it, I really kind of lose interest.
Yeah.
So
it's interesting because when I interviewed the Gail, you know, she said she kind of dabbled into, you know, helping the police. She's like, I don't like doing it. She says it's a very dark, heavy thing to do, and she says it's also. Let me ask real quick before Selena goes. Selena says she's had this attachment for years, and she says, would you be able to help her?
Yeah, I can get rid of it. I'll get rid of it. I can get rid of it in a week. So just contact me, and I'll get rid of it.
I'll tell her how to get a hold of you.
Yeah, there'll be some exchange, but we get rid of it. I already kind of took that. Attachment, if it's something trying to hurt her animal, it definitely, that's a way to get. It drives her more alone. Her depression, I can already see there's a lot of strength.
Yeah.
Yep.
But what she was saying, she said it was too dark and heavy. You know, she says when you're witnessing the murder happen, and she's like, she just couldn't do it. It's just too much.
For me, that's not the problem. You know, that's crazy. For me, it's dealing with the cops and their attitude.
Right.
That's really what it is.
Right.
And it doesn't matter if it's the Federal Bureau of Investigation or your average cop.
Yeah.
I have nothing against cops. I have a lot of people that I know are cops or in the FBI or whatever, and other cops in other countries.
Yeah.
But the problem is when they're working an investigation, they're ignorant, and how they treated me, I felt was disrespect.
Right.
And I'm all about respect. You respect me and my boundaries, I will respect you. So that's really where it was with me. I didn't really mind. I could see the murder. I could see what transpired. If I really put my mind to it, you know, I could see with it, so on. I could solve it. But I choose not to.
Now, Leslie has an interesting question about Lisa Lam. Do you think that Richard Ramirez, although dead, had anything to do with what happened to her?
There's a connection. I haven't been able to solve.
There's some funky stuff in that hotel. Funky, bad.
Yeah,
funky.
There's something going on with that. It's all interconnected. Yes, Richard has something to do with it. That's odd. I mean, I'm on that trail. And that's where I blanked in time. I had a room there. I blanked in time. So something's going on there. It also has something to do with the Blue Dahlia. It has something to do with murders that have transpired along that Skid Row for the last 100 years. There's something, a chain of satanic events going on.
Mm-hmm. It is. I mean, I watched it and I was like, there's just something just off. I mean, it's so thick. I mean, oh my goodness. I was like, yikes.
Well, it is. And, you know, in 1994, they made a movie of it.
Yep.
They made a movie in that hotel about a girl that ends up in a water tank.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's called Dark Water.
Oh wow. Okay. That's
so the rabbit hole is so deep, man. So
because we do know that after when Richard killed, he would just walk up. Nobody questioned him. Everybody stayed out of his way. And he would walk up in his bloody clothes. I mean, they said he was just covered and you know.
Yeah, he stayed at that hotel.
Oh,
He went driving around. He battered people. Yeah, Richard's involved in spiritual ways. It's just evil. And there's other people that vanish too. It's a long line. Really weird.
It is. I could just go on and on with you. Oh my goodness. I mean, this has been such a blast because I mean, I didn't even, I was like, God, we kind of vibe. Oh my God. I was like, this is pretty awesome. Because it's rare to get such similar views on life and the world and everything. And so oh my God, I could just talk to you forever. And I'm pretty sure
we'll have to chat again another time. Been wonderful.
Definitely. I will definitely have to have you on because everybody's just having a good time. And Sharon, I'm so sorry, honey. It has been 2 hours now. So maybe you can rewatch. Trust me, you want to rewatch.
Yeah, there's a lot that's been said. So
yes.
And I know it's been very insightful.
I thank you so much that you gave me your time to come on here and talk to us, talk to me, and I absolutely appreciate. I mean, this was really fun and very nice.
Awesome. Well, you have a good night.
Well,
thank you.
Don't do anything. I'm gonna have my husband put you backstage.
No problem.
And I'll say goodbye real quick.
Oh.
Thank you, guys. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Oh, I'm so glad, Leslie. I mean, this has been truly a very interesting thing. I am working on getting somebody. Thank you, Amy. I mean, he is, you know, and thank you, Sabra. I'm so glad that, you know, y'all enjoyed this so much. It means the world to me. I'm working on somebody for the beginning of February. I already have somebody booked at the end of February, and that is Daniel Class. He is with Ghost Finders, and he is the owner of the Hinsdale House. So it should be a very interesting interview. So thank you again so much, everybody. I appreciate you being here so much. This has been a blast. Thank you.